Mic check, mic check. What up, everybody? This is Romy Mac. Welcome to 2 Cents, where we talk about any and everything and give our 2 cents. It's Friday, at least the day we're recording this day is Friday. It's been one hell of a week, a lot going on. You know, I went to therapy again. I went for like my first session with this new doctor, a black brother. It was good. I liked the way everything went. I had to fill out some forms and some other stuff, but by the time I got to sit down and just actually talk, it's just very comfortable office. Nice couch. Even had candy. I didn't get to indulge in that shit, but it was some candy there. But I think it was Jolly Ranchers or something like that. But anyway, I got to talk a little bit just about a lot of the stuff that's been on my mind and what's been bothering me, and it kind of felt better leaving the office. So I encourage those who might not be too sure about therapy and mental health and all that stuff, to check that out if you can afford it. Because if you're a military veteran, you can get it through the VA. If you're not, it might be a pretty penny depending on what your insurance is like and stuff like that. But you want to check with your insurance to see if you can get into mental health in the best way possible. And if you can look online, so I'm pretty sure people on YouTube, they got folks up there that can talk to you about mental health as well, and maybe that'll help you if you're not really able to afford that. For me, with this cat, it's gonna be, I think he said it was about, I think it's like $84 a session. So just to give you an idea of what this shit's gonna run you. But nevertheless, mental health is good for you. Clear your mind, clear your thoughts, change your perception and how you view things, and that can very well be all the difference. But life is very funny. You go through a lot of shit, and you got to understand exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Otherwise, you will get off track. You will get lost and you start doing dumb shit, to say the least. And I want to encourage those. Today's show, when we were going to end it or whatever, it's talking about like financial literacy. I've been reading Robert Kiyosaki, I think I said his name right, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and kind of picking up a few things, and a lot of things that, like, for people like myself, where we come from, it's like, the typical, we come from the families that do like their 9 to 5 and shit like that, and not realizing that we are part of what they call the rat race. You know what I'm saying? And I just encourage those to read that book. I really don't want to give out too much stuff with it, but you can probably listen to it on YouTube right now. The full audio book is up there, or you can check out Amazon or wherever and try to get Rich Dad Poor Dad. But it's a lot of gems that are like, opens your eyes to the way you view things. And anyway, I've talked enough about that. Want to get right into the show and get the folk on, introducing, of course, none other than Karumbe and Sugar Booger back to the show. Sugar has been like busy serving our country, and we appreciate her doing that, but she's back to talk that shit. So talk that shit, sis.
Hey, what's up?
Shit, I was talking a little bit with our peers about, obviously y'all heard about Rich Dad Poor Dad, and mental health, of course. I want to be a very big advocate for that as much as possible. But anyway, Wayan Karumbe, man, what's going on, bro?
Not much, boss. I'm here in the building.
Yeah, definitely, man. So how's the week been so far for you guys?
I'm stuck here with these snot noses. Then I've been trying to get some help from my teacher about a subject, and it's been irritating me because I say this about college, or the one I go to. They're not so susceptible to help African American students. They'd rather help other students, unless you're African. It seems like they have something against certain people here. So it is what it is.
Interesting. Yeah, Shug, what's going on? What's going on in the sand?
Sure, nothing much. I'm going to school. I got about a month left. Start my process to come home. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
I've been doing a lot. Keep busy too, so.
Damn, you been here that long? Holy shit! I didn't realize that. Cool. All right, well, let's jump right into the show. What's popping in pop? First thing I want to say is, rest in peace to John Witherspoon. Died at 77 years old. For those who don't know who John Witherspoon is, if you've seen Wayan Bros, if you've seen Hollywood Shuffle, if you've seen the 5 Heartbeats, if you've seen the Boondocks, for that matter, Granddad, John Witherspoon is a very funny cat. I grew up watching him my entire life. You know, I've been influenced by that. My father had me growing up watching comedy since I can remember. You know, like when.
Boomerang.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the rooted to the tootie. And then what was it? Partners in Crime, that Robert Townsend HBO show that he used to have with the skit.
You know, Friday the biggest one though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, no, did I? No, I said the Friday series. Yeah, that's right. We did talk about that. But I mean, he just got so many. He got so many lines. He has so many lines, so many things that we've seen from this guy. I mean, he's just been amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like on film, like whenever he captures the moment. Like for me, I think like probably like the funniest to me is when he's talking on Vampire in Brooklyn about how he saw about that fucking wolf. Or whatever, and he's talking to the cop, and he's telling them, he's like, "There's a big wolf, goddammit!" And how he saw, what he said he saw, he said like a it's like a hoe he met back in Alabama, Mississippi, or something like that. You know, I meet at the club, she fine, man, or whatever. I bring her to the house, she's a man, flip floppers of shit. You know, too hilarious, man. John Witherspoon, like I said, you will be missed. But Karumbe, man, what's some good John Witherspoon moments for you? I definitely Boondocks with the fucking new shoes.
Man, cause your ass is old.
Yeah.
Great to have some funny ass moments, but gotta let it. Boomerang, when he was telling Eddie Murphy, you gotta let it coordinate when he had on the mushroom tie.
Yeah.
Mushroom and shit. Like, well, pussy whip, that's what it is.
Oh no.
You gotta let it match, you gotta make it coordinate.
Yeah.
That shit.
And you.
But mostly for me, man, it's gonna probably be Boondocks shit.
Yeah.
Like, I like the Friday series where you like don't go on about 35, 40 minutes, some shit. Yeah. I saw some movie, man. It's gotta be Boondocks, man.
Yeah. Well,
you're like, Granddad, you get this thing, Granddad.
Sneaking into the sneaking in. Had them sneaking into the first episode of season 2 when they sneak inside the movie theater. And he talking about like they give him the popcorn with no butter or whatever. He said, if I go to Burger King and order the cheeseburger, they don't make it put the cheese on it, do it. Yeah, he was funny, man. John Witherspoon and continuously funny. Like, you know, from
he's been funny for years and years.
Yeah,
man.
from starting out with with the Richard Pryor show to even to this day. Like there's a video I believe my brother shared it and tagged me and my cousins in it, but he's doing like the Papa John shit, and he's like he fucks it up. He's like better ingredients, better people, better niggas. Up. That shit's stupid, man. Better ingredients, better pizza, better niggas, and then he's like. But
yeah, I've seen that one a while back when he was on, because I used to go on his YouTube channel. I showed it to Ebony.
Yeah.
The cooking with pop shit.
Yeah, you gotta
he makes like big feet and all kinds of shit up there.
You gotta coordinate, man. You gotta coordinate. Yeah, but Suge, what about you? What's
yeah, he was funny on the Wayans Brothers too.
Yeah. I'm the new councilman.
Yes. There was never. I mean, I love one thing, but I don't have one thing with him. I like him all. I love every last one of his shows.
Yeah, he was just. I mean, it's just a good. It was just good, dude. I mean, he's like you kind of felt like that pops feeling from him from seeing him on screen. You know, like for a lot of us that didn't have, but I mean, for some of us who didn't have fathers, you know what I'm saying, or father figures like to look up to. That, I mean, it was cool. You know, you had like your on-screen dads, and we had a couple on-screen dads in black film, man. Like my favorite, of course, is you know, Uncle Phil. If I could probably have a dad, it'd probably be Uncle Phil. Not for the money, but just how like the care he took, and leadership.
The lessons he gave Will and all the rest of it.
Yeah, leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like actually.
Like Phil wasn't even his kid, man. He gave Will that.
Treated him just like he was his own.
Yep. And the amount of passion that he had when his real dad showed up on that episode, you know what I'm saying? Like, and understanding like, dog, if you're not gonna be here, you need to get the fuck on. And then same for Pops though. Pops did the same thing, with Sean, like Sean's character on the Wayan Brothers, like with him wanting to start his own business and getting his own newsstand, and you know what I'm saying. So that was cool being part of the diner. No, there's they got a lot of them moments on the Wayan Brothers, man. That you can talk about with John Witherspoon, but he certainly will be missed, man. And we moving into the next thing, and of course, we talking about none other than the King, the King of the South, right there. And what Pimp C was talking about when he was talking about what T.I. said he was King of the South. He meant anybody can be a king. But right now, we're gonna talk about T.I. and ensuring the hymen is not broken at the dock for his daughter, his 18-year-old daughter. And a lot of people are running this shit in the ground because of what he said. And I think personally, it's him and his family's business. Let me say that off gate. It's his family business. Y'all acting like we're gonna act. A week ago, we weren't talking about this shit. You wasn't talking about it. So a week from now, you won't be talking about this shit. But for the sake of the current climate, we'll talk about T.I. and this whole thing, making sure his daughter's hymen is not broken. Now, me personally, as a man, I don't know shit about hymens or none of that. But from what I've learned is that a hymen can be broken from multiple things: riding a bike, doing gymnastics, and some other shit. But if this is T.I.'s ideology, that him taking his daughter to the doctor, learning that she hasn't been broken, is his way of keeping her a virgin, by all means, you do what you got to do, man. I don't know if she lived with him. I don't know if she lived.
What about his son? What's he going to make sure they have things?
What about them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's trying to make sure they ain't daggone out there having kids.
But let me tell you this though. First of all, that's something you don't share with the media. That's personal.
That I can agree on. That I'll agree on.
That's something more home. You don't share that with everyone. You don't tell everybody your business like that. Especially a young lady like her. I mean, come on now. I would never do something to our kids like that. And no. Second, I would be motherfucking damned if my husband was doing some shit like that. I would be goddamn damned. No.
I've never heard that combination of cussing together.
I ain't never heard of it either.
Yeah, I'd be goddamn damn.
But for real though, that's something you don't share. No. That's wrong. That's wrong. We don't care in the first place. Why would you even announce it? That sounds like
I don't know the origin though. I really don't know the origin. All I know is I saw it come across online. I don't know how it came up. I don't know if it was a podcast. It probably was a podcast because
This reminds me of, you know how they talk about female mutilation? How they make to make sure they don't have having sex, or to tell if they're having sex, but shit like that. Like, come on, really? You really gotta take a 18-year-old child? If they're gonna have sex, they're gonna have sex in discussion. There's nothing you do about it. They just gonna do it.
My whole shit is taking care of her ass still, and she paying her bills.
She under his watch.
How to use protection.
She under his watch. She gotta go by his rules.
He was saying, well, I'm taking her to go get child not what I was about to say,
birth control.
They motherfuckers still would have been freaking out. They still would. Oh, he take his. If she was younger, yeah, I still take my daughter. They would still act the fucking fool. So it don't fucking matter, right?
What do you
don't matter, boss.
For cervical cancer, making sure she's going to get checked for cervical cancer or shit like that. But he's more worried about her damn hymen being broken than her fucking health.
If he's the one that's constantly paying all her bills,
I don't give a fuck.
If you don't want to pay for her grandchild, then whatever.
It's take my child to no motherfucking clinic.
Hey, she to get out on her own and take care of her stuff. That's his kid. If he taking care of paying all her bills,
that is controlling.
About it.
That is controlling. We don't know their situation. We don't know if he's paying for her stuff. She might have a job and pay for her own shit. We don't know.
Let's be reasonable here. Now y'all paying for all her shit.
So that's her that's a justification. You can't use it as a justification. No. It's because he's paying for her and taking care of her. She didn't ask to be brought into the world. First of all, he brought her into this world. Yes, she is a responsibility. She needs to fight for her life. Now, with that being said, no, just because he's taking care of her does not mean that he can control her body and what she's doing to it like that. That's how that.
Okay, he can. But when it controls his pocket, I tell you that much. He can control his pocket. If she was to get pregnant, you could like take care of your own kid. She'll come out and be like, "Oh, you don't want to see nothing in my grandkid." Y'all motherfuckers are still be out there talking shit about it.
What if his daughter was raped and became pregnant?
Said what?
What if her daughter was raped? His daughter was raped and became pregnant.
Why you are bringing that shit? You always want to bring that up, bro.
What I'm saying to you is
that's a whole fucking different ball game. Let's be reasonable here.
Unnecessary.
Oh God, man, you ain't even being reasonable.
That is controlling. Just because he pays bills and takes care of her, that gives him.
And you know what? When I lived in my parents' house and I wanted to do shit, I got the fuck out. I didn't ask him to pay for nothing for me or do nothing for me. You know he's getting that.
But
you want to know what? He try to raise his kids to do right and do shit like that, and not put themselves in that kind of predicament. They're lucky. They lucky he a fucking rapper. He understands that. They fucking don't.
To be controlled. So if when she meets a guy, guess what? He's gonna treat her the same.
If there was any other 18-year-old girl that was pregnant out there like that, but got like that, y'all be talking shit about him.
Hold on. Let Ebony go. Let Ebony go. Go ahead, Ab.
No, that is controlling. You raise your child and treat your child the way that you want someone else to be treated. They know their worth. By him controlling her like that, if another nigga come into place and you start acting that same way towards her, she gonna think that's normal and that's fine because her daddy raised her like that. What if the guy that she married wants her to go to the doctors every day to make sure that she ain't had sex with somebody else or something like that? Would you be okay with that if someone was treating your daughter like that because she was living with him and he was paying for the majority of the bill? Or better yet, because he's paying the bills and she's living with him, she can't go see her family or talk to her friends anymore.
Man.
You see what I'm saying?
The whole reason y'all are getting blown out because she ain't. That's the whole reason it's like this.
After someone turns 16, you do not have your medical information cannot be disclosed with anyone else unless you consent. Honestly, he forced her to consent for the doctor to disclose her medical information, or she's just telling him anything. My point is, if somebody, a teenager, is gonna have sex, they're gonna find ways to go around it and have sex. You and I both know that. We've all been there before, right? Your parents told you this and that, and you still did it, right? Exactly.
Yeah, but my dad wanna fuck billionaire.
My point is, you have to.
My dad's paycheck and your paycheck ain't the same.
So how are you gonna prove that?
My dad was paying everything for me. That wouldn't happen.
That's not the.
No, you know he doing that shit.
It doesn't matter that he was paying for everything. He's controlling her body.
It does fucking matter.
All you gotta do is teach her, hey, yeah, I know you're probably gonna have sex and shit. Use a condom. Get on birth control. Something to prevent yourself from having sex. Because you're gonna do it. You're gonna find a way to do it. I don't want you to, but you're gonna do it anyway.
All right. So we have opposing views on this particular topic. Jeff is like, he's with, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, you with T.I. on the whole thing, the fact of making sure his daughter.
I'm not with him on it, but I'm saying I know he probably just constantly taking care of her and shit.
Okay, yeah, well, taking care of all of them.
Brought into this world. That's his responsibility.
18, motherfucker. Let's be reasonable. 18 ain't his fucking responsibility to take care of no more. That's like you said, you're a fucking adult. You don't even listen to yourself. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Oh, fuck out of here. You just your own fucking self. Listen to yourself.
Listen, that is also showing her that he don't trust his own child. He don't trust her. He does not trust her.
This very well may be true. Very well may be true. And then let me understand the Ebony's side of this whole thing, that you feel like this is T.I. taking control of her body, and as a woman, that is where am I correct? This is where you taking like offense to this whole thing.
And as a female, I would feel that if my father was doing that to me, he does not trust me. Period. Not in the discussion.
Hey, I got a question.
But listen. We all know how that goes when it comes to males.
Hey, Ebony.
Listen, wait, I'm not done.
All right, tell me. Your last time, I'm going to
Hold up.
Become pregnant. But
Yeah.
when it comes to her sons, who gives a fuck?
I got a question.
Yeah.
How old is she now?
I always see them.
18. You just said she's an adult. She don't have to go to the fucking hospital with her dad. She don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So why the fuck is she doing it then? Because she getting a fucking check every day. She getting a fucking check every month. If he wouldn't have said that shit, he'd be still doing it right now. Y'all people retarded as fuck.
They're bringing in the money and
Exactly. Because he's been doing it. If he didn't, the only reason it's out is because he said that shit. That's the whole point. If he wouldn't have said that shit, nobody would have known. And she would have still been doing it.
Let me tell you.
Shut the fuck up. She getting paid. Fuck out of here, bro. You pay for everything she got. Fuck up.
so that's justification.
So that's doing it. It's her choice. It's her fucking choice. That's what she has to do it.
Riddle me this: if I pay for everything in that house that we live in right now, that means I could run everything the way that I
Ebony,
not to tell.
you just said she 18. She got a choice, idiot. She 18. She got a choice, right? I got a question. She 18, right? You just said that. She got a choice. She has a fucking choice. She don't have to do it.
All right, hold on. Let me grab. Hold on.
You just proving me right.
Hold on. Let me grab control. Let me grab control of this thing. Hold on. Y'all be cool. Yo, y'all be cool. Y'all be cool. All right. So let me get back control of this thing, man. All right, cool. All right. So pretty much we got the gist of how you guys feel on this thing. This is my feel on the topic. I have a daughter. Yeah, my take is me personally, I wouldn't do that with my kid. That's just me. But that's his kid. You know, that's his choice and how he run his house. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know, I mean, as far as like you know, women having their feelings on the whole subject. I mean, yeah, I get you. You feel some type of way about how, you know, he's trying to take control of her body. I mean, granted, yeah, she gonna do what she want to do, which is very true.
Exactly.
At the same time, yeah, she is. Yeah, she 18. You know what I'm saying? She 18. It's a choice, and all we know is the headline that we saw. I don't know. We don't know anything further, and everybody's making speculations like, what if she got, you know, Ebony was like, what if she got raped or some shit like that? Like, how would that be? I mean, that's taking everything away from what actually we know to happen. What we do know is that he says he takes his daughter to the doctor and gets her hymen checked, and that is it's an eyebrow raiser. It just makes you wonder, what would you do for your own kids? And that's really all we gotta talk about. Let's talk about our own fucking family.
She don't have to do that. She don't, but she does. Why does she do it?
You can't even listen to what I said.
I'm just saying, why is she doing it? She's 18. She doesn't have to do it.
Okay.
She's a legal adult. She doesn't have to do it.
And another part that Ebony keeps trying to make is this whole thing, like she's trying to talk about the double standard in which, like, what he would T.I. would do for his boys. Now I will say this because I know this information. His 14-year-old or 15-year-old is on tour right now. He's like one of them young, you know, he's a young rapper. You don't really know about him. He's probably like local or some shit, like a local act. But he's having sex. Let's be clear. He's having sex. That's been on the show. So I mean, the subject of the matter is more so like how we felt about this particular thing. But to make your point about the double standard, yes, there is a double standard when it comes to females. I mean, to girls, and as a father. Rightfully so. That's my opinion on it. You know, that's maybe because I'm a man that you don't have to agree with that, but that's just really what that is. Because in the ideas of, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for a mother. However she may feel about her sons is the way that a father would feel about his daughters. So you have a situation where when you have a son, you got one dick to worry about. When you got a daughter, there's plenty of dicks. You know what I'm saying? To worry about. If your daughter is straight, that is, you know what I'm saying. I mean, there are some that have gay daughters, and then that's your issue. I mean, there's these things that you go through your head as a parent, and that's just, you know, I mean, really, my take on the shit. T.I., do what the fuck you want to do with your kid. I ain't got nothing. I'm not gonna tell you how to run your household, man. I mean, but she's 18, so whatever Whatever they got going on is whatever they got going on. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we're running with a lot of us are running with a headline, and we don't really know the ins and outs of it. But I mean, as far as my official stance on what I see in the headline, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that for my kid. I wouldn't do that for my kid to ensure that, yeah, there's a trust thing, and then there's like, I mean, I have a different view. Like, again, my daughter is a child as long as she wants to stay a child. When she wants to become an adult and do adult things, that's on her. I mean, I can help guide her, but I'm not gonna keep coming to the rescue like that. That's what I will say. If you want to be grown, then you can be grown. That's what grown people do. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about that shit. So I'm glad y'all gave both strong points, very, very passionate points about that, Jeff, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Driving home the fact that she 18, so it's a choice. Ebony is like, you know, you trying to control her, you know, her body, and that very well might have been true before 18. I don't know what that, yeah, as far as that 18, I don't know about that. I mean, it's just the fact that, see, the thing is, we're comparing a lot of times. It's like what we did with the Aisha Curry shit. We're comparing people that are in like in different tax brackets than us. You know what I'm saying? Granted, a woman's body is a woman's body, but they also run a little bit differently. Money changes things. Unfortunately, it does, because a lot of people, I mean, and that's another thing too. We're gonna talk about that too later in the topic about how long, you know, our kids living with us and stuff like that without paying rent, or if they should pay rent. But for this particular thing, you know, it's an unusual thing you would read. I mean, because I don't hear nothing about this. It's the first time I've ever heard anything about a hymen to begin with. But you got ordinary people having opinions about extraordinary salaries. You know what I'm saying? And as far as how they move and shit, like, I'm not able to tell a person who has multiple cars, oh man, that's too many cars to have and shit like that. You know, like, again, they live a different lifestyle, and everybody don't live by the same lifestyle. There's some people that actually smoke weed with their kids while they're in high school. You know what I'm saying? And then you have your differences on that, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing marijuana with their kids. It's in a controlled environment, and you rather them learn from you than somebody else. And this whole thing with it's like for T.I., it's like, this is his kid, this is how he want to move, and that's how it runs in his house. So I mean, for every daughter, even the baby girl, I think she's what, maybe 2 years old, 3 years old, or something like that, that they got, her and him and Tiny, she probably gonna have to face the same shit. That's just how he run. That's how he run his show. You talk to 10 different households, you'll get 10 different parental strategies. Some similarities, but there's gonna be differences. This is one of them. This is how I see it. So I obviously know that in y'all household, y'all have a difference in opinion on this particular subject, which is dope.
It ain't I'm not saying that he shouldn't do it. It's the fact that she old enough not to do that shit. Like, if I wanted to have sex when I was 18 or whatever, I got out of my fucking parents' house. I was like, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm out. I want to do what I'm gonna do.
Let's be really honest. Probably texting your parents' house when you were paying the bills and stuff. Let's be real. You didn't wait till you moved out to have sex.
I'm saying when I wanted to do what I want to do, I got the fuck out my parents' house.
Well, you still did what you wanted to do when you were still in the house, right?
And they fucking locked me out. There was consequences for that shit. You think they weren't?
What I'm saying is, why him having her do that? It's like he doesn't trust his daughter. This is my perspective of how I see it. He doesn't trust her enough that she will make the right decision. Now,
we talking about. This is what I'm saying. We know.
Yes.
This is a multi-millionaire motherfucker here.
Him a reason to do that way, then that, you know, okay. But my child has never given me a reason to not have the, you know, you give your kid the tools that they use and everything, but it seems like he does not trust her enough to make the right decision.
Well, let's also go into but I'm gonna bring up another situation. I'm gonna bring up another household, another big name celebrity and their parental guidance. Steve Harvey's daughter has been going back and forth between these different guys. She's very young. She's like 22, I think. She's 4 years older than this particular individual. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're bringing up the fact that he doesn't trust his daughter to make the right decisions, well, I mean, you got daughters out here that don't have any structure, and then they end up going from like guy to guy. I mean, look at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, go from like Trey Songz to Diddy.
You can have structure in your household, and your kid is still going to turn out complete opposite how you raised them.
I'll tell you.
See how, we know how T.I. is. Like, we see how he is. Like, he want his kids to be successful, basically. You can tell that. The way he set them up, like, he knows he's lucky. He don't want her to go out and get, if that was, he don't want anything like that to happen to his daughter. I mean, I don't think anybody does, I'm saying.
He does, but all you gotta do is listen to those, and on hope they make the right decision. You
He's old enough. She's 18 though, Ebony. We ain't talking about a fucking 12-year-old or 13-year-old.
What I'm saying, you can raise your kids and do everything perfect. The way that you see fit, how you see.
The whole thing is she's a fucking adult after they're with him.
Completely different.
That he made.
They can still come out completely different, no matter how you put it. You something all the kids ain't gonna come out the same.
I can tell you this. There you greater.
We have to realize
she's going through with that. That's on her.
That's a lot of.
Whatever choices they make in life, they have to do.
If you don't have any structure, granted we don't get to decide what type of. I mean, everybody's structure is differently, depending on the household. But if you don't have any structure, you create chaos, anarchy. So this is all. Most parents only do what they know. So this is what he's doing. This is his way of preventing his daughter from doing anything drastic. Will it work? We don't know. We'll see.
But his daughter is also a fucking adult, and she don't have to go through with it.
Yeah, that too. That too. We drove that point. Final. All right, we got to move on from that shit. Last thing in what's popping and pop. Whitney Houston, apparently, her best friend Robin Crawford, who, for those who know Whitney Houston, like throughout her career, leading up into her death, her best friend name is Robin. She used to rock with her like everywhere, but recently she came out with a memoir that discussed the love affair that her and Whitney would have. And then like one of the quotes from the book is that her mom, Cissy Houston, knew about her and Robin, and she was like, she don't think that that they would have to stop doing this, because I think one time they were like they were seen making out or something in like a hotel lobby or something like that, and Whitney's mom was like, I don't think it'd be good for your career. So just very interesting that this stuff comes out after the individual dies. Like a lot of those stories, again, maybe it's to protect their image or like I don't know, because you know how the world felt at the time about being gay and like the LGBTQ and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But now we have a situation where Robin has a book which she's going to profit from, with information that probably should be kept secret. That wasn't meant for the public, but hey, that's a personal choice that people make when they want to obtain profit, because they know people will flock towards Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was one of the biggest selling artists and one of the greatest singers of our lifetime, and it just makes you wonder, like this, what more is going to come out? Like, who's going to come out and say something about John Witherspoon now that he's gone? You know what I'm saying? They're going to say John Witherspoon did whatever with a particular famous actress, or a singer or something, female singer. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this whole story with Robin coming out saying this about Whitney Houston, and I'm gonna go to Suge first. What you think about this?
I don't know if it's true.
Even if it's the image. Man, go ahead, Anthony. I'm just like,
was head over heels for somebody. So maybe the lady was in love with Whitney, but Whitney wasn't in love with her. So kind of.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? Man, what you think about this shit?
I see it like this, man. Even if you did it to protect the image, that's not helping right now, is it? It ain't helping now. It's obvious there was something else involved with it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like you say, I'm doing it. They wouldn't do it. They want to keep their image and intact. If you really love that person, you gave a cared about them that much, you wouldn't do it all of a sudden. It's like you're trying to get money. Or you're being pushed to do it. Because you see this whole craze now, like, of people wanting to come out and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening too much.
A lot.
That's like me knowing having a friend and my friend, let's say, used to snort coke. You think nobody knows he came a normal life or whatever, but you think I'm gonna go and like write a book about him snorting coke?
Yeah, a true friend would keep your business to themselves.
Yeah,
they're not brave. They keep that shit. Whether or not they get into an argument, they keep that shit. Don't say nothing. Well, when you take that to the grave, you don't tell their business like that.
Exactly. Because a lot of these people all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, you know, so and so. It's all bullshit. That's why I don't put no stock in it.
That's like a petty relative, but as soon as you piss them off, they start telling your business because they mad. Exactly what you're doing. Ridiculous.
Well, whether or not this is true, I mean, I firmly, like, from what I've seen in footage, like, of the Whitney documentary that was on Hulu that time, the one that came out to theaters, I believe, too. I mean, I can definitely see, like, how close Whitney and Robin became. I mean, that's their business. I know there was, like, a lot of jealousy once the king of R&B came along, and Bobby had his feelings on Robin, and, you know, if you've seen the Bobby Brown story, you'll see how things were with that. But nevertheless, Whitney's gone, Robin's here, and she's gonna get that money for this memoir for sure. So that's enough of what's popping and pop. Shug, what's up with your rant for the week?
Terrible bosses, bad leadership.
Run it again.
You sit behind a desk and you don't get out from under your desk to see how your people are doing and what they are doing. And the only time you move your desk is when you have something negative to bring about. That's bad leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know your people. Get up from under the desk. One thing I can't stand is when people, you don't know leadership, they don't put them under the desk. And then they get mad at you because they don't respect you. Or they don't respect you because you don't get from behind that desk. Get to know your people. Stop talking shit about people on social media if they're on your page. That's just dumb. Yeah, that's all I have. Bad leadership.
All right. Well, Karumbe, man, you know, it's your time, man. You know, top joints and games. What you got, bro?
Out of World just came out and it's like a 10 out of 10 everywhere. That's fire. Besides the gaming, that West Side Gun album is legit. The mixtape album, whatever you want to call it. I'm a big fan of West Side Gun, that movement.
Dave East album came out today as well, from what I understand. It's called Survival. Dave East Survival. Not to chime in on your segment, bro, but yeah, Dave East. I was just sent that by my boy Donnie. He sent me the link to the album on Apple Music just now. But yeah, Dave East Survival is out right now as well. All right, cool. All right.
It really is. Oh yeah, I was watching. I wanted to get on something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I think get on. I was watching this dude I watched on YouTube. What's his name? It's called Dave Calloway, and he has a lot of interesting stuff on his YouTube page. And one of the things he had was like, why people were mad at Jay-Z while we speaking on that about the whole NFL thing, right? One of the things he said is like that about like what's the name being signed tonight. Nike makes the jerseys for the NFL. Like no one even bought that up. Like people that mad over it. They should have been mad at Kaepernick for accepting the Nike jerseys. You know what I'm saying? They still like help sponsor the NFL. That's one thing, man. Go check out Dan Calloway page. He got tons of good stuff up there.
They did talk about Nike in those jerseys with him, which I guess it has a slap in the face to the NFL. Nike was like, we can shit for y'all, but we gonna take cap. There was something about that a while back too.
Alright, well, we're gonna get into our first topic, official topic of the day, despite the long conversation we had about T.I. and the Hymen situation. But the first thing is, should adult children pay rent to parent? And I guess I'll go first with that. Knowing what I know now, if, like I said, my kid was living with me, I would not send my child out into the world until they saved up enough to last in the world, to survive in the world, really. So I mean, they would have to abide by rules that they wouldn't be as strict as it was when they were coming up. But my child is definitely. I would definitely want my child to live with me as long as she could until she's able to handle her biz and be financially structured. You know what I'm saying? Like to where she can build her own business is what I would want her to do. Is build her own business and be successful. So that's my stance on it, man. I'm gonna go to my bro Jeff on this one. Karumbe, man, what's up?
I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Because there's the billionaires and super millionaires in the world say the best thing you can do, and I've had this discussion with you of what they say is the best thing that you can do for a kid is to make them be in poverty. Because when you have kids like that, you try to push them, they even if they have the tools put in front of them, they don't use the tool. And they say when you come from let's say us, we're not rich, we don't have millions of dollars and all of this stuff. But the simple fact that we don't have it, we will push harder to get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's come from multiple billionaires that had the same mentality. Like that's the best thing you can do, because if they want to, they're gonna strive to try to get to that point instead of it being handed. So I kind of don't agree with that.
All right, that's cool. You're entitled to your opinion. So, Suge, what about you?
I think to an extent, based off of experience. So I stayed home with my parents for a year after school. I worked, and I didn't pay rent, so I just blew my money because I didn't have to, my parents provided the food and the shelter. I bought, clothes. I blew through money. The check was always gone because, I felt that I was living at home, right? So, I did move out by myself and, support myself, but I didn't know all those things like paying bills and stuff like that, I think that if my parents would have had me pay some type of money for rent, I would at least, somewhat understand how it is in the real world. Without mommy and daddy, But I would charge my kids rent, but I wouldn't take all their money so they couldn't take it, What I would do though with that money is have them give me a certain amount based off how much they're making, and I would put it in that account for them. And this is if I could ever do that. Or I would try to match the little bit that they give me and, put it in an account, and then, hey, it could be a down payment for a house, or cars, something, that way. I think that would be, I've heard people doing that for their kids.
There's a lot of
I read this story about parents that did that. Their kids go to college, and they bought their daughter a house, and she paid the mortgage. What she did was she got two or three other roommates, and so the roommates paid their half of the rent and whatnot. So by the time she graduated, and she was working during college too and saving money as well. So by the time she graduated and stuff, she had a place to stay. And then it also cut costs of school. It cut her college in half. She had to put this on campus. And then, by then she was working and having a career and everything. And I think that helps, alleviating the stress of, taking care of yourself after school. Because, not everybody starts working right after college. But I think that was a good investment that the parents did, for their kids. And then they take over the payments, paying for the house. So they'll pay for it. And they got good credit because they put the house in the kids' name. So her credit is decent, is good at the same time. So she's still learning responsibility and everything like that, I think doing things like that is pretty good and beneficial to them. Teaches them about the real world. At the same time, help them build credit up and things like that. I wouldn't take all their money from them. I would just, hey, whatever you can pay, and try to match that.
All right. Well, good. So we got our stance on whether or not adult children should pay rent to their parents and why. Different opinions. You see how we felt on this shit, and you do what's best. You know what I'm saying. There's no one way to get to the finish line. You do what You do what works. You know what I'm saying? You do what works for you. All right. So second topic is going to be a little bit. I guess it's dark humor because we had an individual. For those who don't know, as of November 1st, the Popeyes Chicken has resurfaced at Popeyes, and in the spirit of good chicken stories, there was a murder. There's been a murder. Somebody was stabbed in Maryland over a fucking chicken sandwich.
That was retarded.
Special.
Oh, y'all in Maryland wildin', ain't y'all? Love y'all chicken.
Yeah, my DMV family, we gotta take the hit for this one. But I wanna ask you guys, like in a joking matter. Obviously, death is nothing to joke about, but I want to say, what food to you guys would you consider killing for? I guess in a figurative sense, what food would you kill for? Like I joke that had that have been stuffed crust, I might understand. Like for me, stuffed crust pizza was probably like the greatest invention for a kid that grew up watching Ninja Turtles and loved pizza. And when I found out they could put cheese in the crust, yeah, I was sold on stuffed crust being like, yeah, I'm sold on stuffed crust, to the point where I might look at you sideways if you try to touch my shit. That's how I feel. That's how much I love stuffed crust. But I'm gonna ask you guys though. For you, Jeff, like what food?
Ask Ebony first. Ask Ebony,
nah,
please.
Why you? Why you don't want to go?
Ask Ebony.
I want to hear what I gotta say first. Man, I love butter chicken.
Who?
I was like,
what is that?
Out of
Who? What is that? Which one is that?
Butter chicken.
From where?
It's the Indian dish.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll slap eyes. I won't share it with nobody. And yeah, I'll slap eyes with somebody for that. I will fight that.
Now that butter chicken we used to get in Japan used to be legit. I ain't gonna lie. Damn, that shit was on some other.
All right. So what about you, bruh? What about you?
Yo, even though it ain't there no more, Santa sushi, yo.
Oh yeah, sushi.
Yo, there's a tray. It's had like 50 pieces of sushi on it, and I could eat like half that fucking tray.
It wasn't 50. It's more like 20.
Was it 25?
Yeah, it was like less than 20. We didn't eat no 50.
Oh, it won't less than 20. I'm talking about the big circle one. There's a small circle one and a big circle one.
Yeah, it was like 20.
It was not 20 pieces. I could eat 20 pieces easily.
It was 20.
Yo, Santa sushi.
Fight the man over how much we was putting on the platter. Arguing all the time.
Yeah, the dude used to argue about how much I could eat. You're like, nah, that's enough. You don't need no more sushi. I'm like, no, I want more. Shit, Santa sushi be legit. I love like real like sashimi, not that bullshit American sushi. It's fucking.
No, they don't do ramen over there.
Yeah, but
I don't like.
But let's go. Yeah, we didn't gave our food choices and shit. But we'll get back to this whole whole ordeal. Why do you feel like? I think we are just the ones that are highlighted on television. I don't think we're the only ones. I just think we're highlighted for that. But why do you feel like people would go to such lengths over a chicken sandwich? I'll give you my stance on it, and you can, and everybody can, y'all can either chime in, disagree, agree, whatever. It comes from a sense of low self-esteem and wanting to be a part of the in crowd. You know what I'm saying, about the fad or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Literally, like if somebody came out tomorrow with some black cat came out on Black Twitter or whatever fucking thing where it's like a gang of us, and he was just talking about Rockport shoes in like the most fanatic way, people would be flocking to Rockport or in a shoe store to get Rockports, and they will literally be fighting over Rockports. It has been proven.
Jordans, man.
That's what I'm saying. We are. Everybody wants to feel important. They want to feel like a star. You want to feel like you got the hot shit. That is the issue with our community. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we're tripping off of it's really a chicken. It's just a chicken sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make a video about DiGiorno's stuffed crust pizza, and I want to see if Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Publix, Food Lion, Farm Fresh all these places, all these different grocery stores across the world, if they would be out of stock on DiGiorno stuffed crust pizza, is if I just do a commercial, you know what I'm saying, if I do the advertisement, the free advertisement, mind you, that would be good enough to get people to go get that shit. Like, it's really not, I don't really think it's the sandwich. I don't think it's the sandwich that we tripping on. I think it's the status. I really feel like it's status.
It's trying to get big, bro.
Walmart was packing the Bell's meal, secret shells.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's hype. It's all hype, man. That's nobody does advertisement, free advertisement like us black people. You see the power that we have, right?
Mm-hmm. You can say that, but people won't believe it. They people have been saying that for years. Like, we push the market, man. If we go buy Bentleys, every nigga that got money want Bentleys. We push that market.
Navigators.
Don't get none of it.
Those other cars that people see. Trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. I just
them ugly ass Chrysler 300s.
Yep. You remember that? Yeah, you remember? Yeah, cause can't
niggas was buying them. They like, yo, it look like a Bentley.
Yeah, of course. But the thing is, and I'm gonna touch on this, and it's gonna lead into the next topic of like financial literacy. One thing that I picked up in just now, listening to the audiobook of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about how like the poor like to appear rich, while the rich worry about getting rich. You know what I'm saying? It's more important for us to buy luxury. Like the poor and the middle class buy luxuries first, versus building assets to buy luxuries. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about all the people that, again, they come from nothing. You barely can keep the lights on, but you got a pair of Jordans on. You know what I'm saying? The pair of shoes you got costs more, you know what I'm saying, than what you even have to own in yourself. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So like, we don't talk enough about financial literacy, because I personally don't come from a family that know much about financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? And in schools they don't. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. We just go right into the third topic, and that is like, why do you feel schools don't teach us financial literacy? You know what I'm saying?
The private schools teach financial literacy.
Well, some do. Some do. Yeah, but like traditional public schools, they train you how to work. They train you to be able to work for a company, to be obedient, is what that is. To be obedient for the system, but not to have your own business and create actual wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us are in a situation where our expenses are just as much as our paycheck, so we're not able to save anything. You know what I mean? So like, what's important for us to do is to have a budget plan, so that you can see what you're profiting and what you're losing. You know what I'm saying? And what needs to be for bills, and then you'll probably get yourself out of, you know what I'm saying, a financial crisis. Because a lot of times when you buy luxuries first, you'll end up having to sell. You'll end up having to sell that. You know what I'm saying? To pay for your bills. You'll pay for your expenses. So really, what was it? You know, really, what was it worth? I just feel like schools should be for like I think teachers as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, whether you teach history, whether you teach gym, I think that you should talk about the things that are going to affect our youth when they get older, such as money management. That is something that's very.
I don't think it should be just in school. Parents.
Yeah, that too. That's what I'm saying.
Free seminars and things that teach you that, so I don't think it should just be the school.
No. It should be just school.
We have the tools at our disposal to teach our own kids that stuff. Yeah,
but I mean, they are in school, and when you are a school setting, these are things that should be taught. Yes, parents should be teaching that to their kids too. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, if you're in a school setting, I just the whole structure of school as to how to make money and all these things. That's where I question, like, what is it really about? But
we're not paying these teachers enough to be teaching those types of things.
Teachers don't even get kids homework. You mistake these motherfuckers.
If you care, yeah. If you care enough about the
youth.
Start at home.
I'm not gonna say all teachers don't like. I'm not gonna say. I mean, there are some teachers that just want to come there and do their job and go the fuck home. But there are some who really care about what happens to our kids.
Do their job and go home.
The best teachers are the job and go home outside of curriculum. Those are always the best teachers.
That's what I'm saying.
Like actually give a fuck.
Yeah.
Or the ones to the book, and that's a rarity when it comes to teaching now.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. That's what pretty much our stance on financial literacy and public schools, and why we feel and why I feel schools don't teach us financial literacy. And so I feel like it's to keep us in a system that's designed to keep us where we are. Roughly, that's roughly what what we feel on the matter. So I mean that was topic 3 right there. Probably do something we ain't done a long time, really. You know what I'm saying? I guess we should do. We should do the. I don't know, what do you call that? Ask the census roulette or whatever, where we just randomly ask, you know what I'm saying, each other shit, and go like maybe like 2-3 rounds of that, and then we'll close this bitch up. But I don't know. Let me see what I got for Jeff. Yeah, we going. I'm gonna go to Jeff first, and keep it on hip hop and shit. And we've been talking about it all week. But why do you feel like Lord Jamar keep coming at Eminem?
Cause he a hater, man. It's like we explained, man. He a 5%er, and see this white man coming to this black genre and do so well. You have to make excuses for it. It's not. And at one point, yes, he's gonna sell more records because he's white, but he had to have a hard ass fucking time getting in the hip hop. It's not like it's like today, like white. And before he even got with Drake, he was the Outsiders rapping. He had album out before then, and people still overlooked him. I heard him way back then, and I was like, who is this white kid shining? Well, I didn't even know he was white, to tell you the truth. On the Ruckus album, I didn't even know he was white. He was just that lyrically good. His verses were better than everybody else. He's continued to do that through his whole career. He's one of the best in-game lyricists in the game. Period. Every song you put him on, he outshines everybody. I only see him outshining like once. That was by Royce 5'9". That's it. Everybody else he destroys on every track.
Alright.
No competition.
Alright, Jeff, it's on you, man. Ask anybody. Me, Ebony, ask whatever.
Ask whatever. Why is it hard for married people to take compliments from anybody else?
Are you asking?
Like,
alright, I guess that's directly for Ebony.
Who are you asking that to?
Yeah, is that Ebony or that's me? Because you know.
I kind of said it to like both of y'all. I mean, I wouldn't say married people. I say people in a relationship. Like if you've been in a relationship for a long time and somebody compliments you, like you don't grasp it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds like.
That
sounds like relationship trauma. The reason for that is because when people get with somebody for a very long time, you get used to them. You know what I'm saying? You get used to them, and you stop. The compliments do stop, or if they never did it to begin with, you just not used to being complimented by the individual that you are in a relationship with. Now it depends on your, as they say, love languages and shit. Some people will have no problems complimenting someone on how, how pretty they are, or how saying like how beautiful they look, how good they look, or, how nice they are. What I'm saying is that you just get used to people, and when you're used to hearing like. What I'm saying is that you get used to shit a lot of times in relationships, and again you'll hear something for a long time. It's kind of like the woman that doesn't get compliments from her husband, and then a guy randomly says, hey, I think you look nice, and she's like, yeah, you talking to me? Or say something that you didn't really understand, and that can happen. But I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just like something you're not used to. Sometimes you just you get complacent in a lot of sense, and you get comfortable. And that's the one thing you don't want to do in any relationship, is try not to get comfortable. You want to always strive to do to be better. But I mean, life happens, and then you can find yourself getting comfortable as far as with that individual, because you want that sense of security, but you also don't want to be too comfortable. I guess that's the best way to put that. So that's how I answer that question. He asked both of us. So what about you?
I want to piggyback off the love language thing. I think that's the main point. If you don't know that person's love language, I mean, maybe it's not compliments. You know, it could be as simple as spending time with them or gift giving or things like that. But yeah, they're probably not haven't been used to it for a while. Or, you know, you say it so much and then they start, you know, thinking that maybe you're just saying it just to be saying it. Or yeah, I don't know.
All right, Eb. Well, it's on you. So you ask away to whoever.
Same question for you, Jeff. Question you just asked.
Why would you ask the same question?
Yeah, I asked the question first. That doesn't make sense.
I want to know what your opinion is on it.
I don't have no opinion.
Oh, goodness.
How many of you don't answer another damn question?
I asked you the question. I had the question for it.
Alright. So, I don't know what to ask. I really don't. Oh, I got a good one. Do you think, so, these books that they have, like, on relationships and things like that, do y'all think that they would be beneficial or helpful? Or do you think it's just full of bullshit?
Of course it's helpful. It's from people, I mean, depending on the credibility. I mean, if it's from people that fucked up a lot, you can learn a lot from people's mistakes. So, I agree that I do agree that it is beneficial to learn from those who have fucked up and try not to make the same mistakes that they did, or even more. It's like people with in psychology, like learn from them. You know what I'm saying? Like again, they can definitely help us out. Like learn what a healthy relationship is versus an unhealthy relationship. I know very well that most of my relationships, if not all, have been unhealthy throughout my life because I did not know how to love myself, let alone love somebody else. So that is the journey I'm on right now, is trying to love myself so that I can love others. You know what I mean? The relationship that you set for yourself sets the tone for everybody else. That is my stance on that. So yeah. You go ahead.
So you think that like self-help books and things like that would help?
Indeed. I'm reading one right now called Codependent No More, because I've been a codependent most of my life in a sense. I got control issues like a motherfucker. I'm very insecure. I'll be transparent with my audience as they listen to this. But yeah, there's a lot of things I can learn and change and again grow to be a better man about myself. And again, I used to say all the time that I wish life were like The Sims, where you can control everybody and they can do like what you want them to do when you want them to do it. But that is not how life works. And for a long time, I kept trying to make people do what I want them to do when I want them to do it. Whether that's friends, whether that's family, whether that's your significant other. And I'm learning from that. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, they could change, but they also have to want to change. So it is up to me to decide if that's something I want to deal with, versus trying to change them. You know what I mean? That's how I feel on it.
Okay. You, Jeffrey? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, use your government name.
The Deacon.
I mean, it's to the point where, like, look, some of these people, I've said before, because I think it'd be funny, and they've been divorced, like, 4 or 5 times. I'm like, damn, you trying to tell me about my relationship, and you can't figure this shit out yourself. So whatever you writing is either bullshit or what?
Yeah. I think that some of these books are beneficial. I started to read one, and actually 2 different books, and they drove a few points that is pretty much spot on. Like everything that is brought up is like, yep, been through that, and then I think about it, I'm like, man, this would help. Of course, some of them requires both parties to, be willing to commit to change or things like that. Otherwise, it's not going to work at all. But and then it also points out that hey, you gotta start with you first. You can't expect the other person. You know, just like you said, Mac, you want people to do everything that you wanted to do, and instead you had to change yourself first. And when that person sees a change, then they will. You know, so I think that they are pretty beneficial and helpful. I think they would be. Yeah. But, you know, some people think that they have it all together when in reality it's not perfect and we all don't have it all together. So, yeah, there's times that we do need a little bit of help.
We want to thank y'all for tuning in with us on this episode. We talked about financial literacy. We talked about niggas and chicken. We talked about what else? We talked about niggas, what they do with their daughter, and that's their damn business. And anybody got a problem with that can @T.I. and not talk to me about this shit, because that's his problem, not mine. But I want to tell you guys that obviously you can follow the show on Instagram @2cents the podcast, also at the official Romy Mac page on Twitter, 2 Cents the podcast, DA podcast, and then of course the Facebook page, 2 Cents Podcast Central. And for those who have podcasts that are listening to this, be sure to put your content up there. That page right there is made for you, solely for you to promote your you know what I'm saying, your brand, your platform, and all that. We definitely welcome that. And then of course the Snapchat 2 Cents DA podcast as well. So had a good, you know what I'm saying, had a good time with my family doing this. I love when Deke and Suge don't agree on some shit, because apparently we agree all the time, Ebony, but somehow y'all still got heated ass debates.
Yeah, I think this was my favorite by so far.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, it ain't the first time y'all done got into it, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we do.
This is my favorite one.
But what I'm saying is that you had the statement before the show talking about we agree on everything, and I don't agree with that. That alone.
Well, I was wrong. You proved me wrong, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
Good. Jeff, go ahead and rub it in the fact that she said she was wrong.
Man, I'm not even gonna do it, man.
You can't rub it in because I just admitted that I was wrong, so you can't rub it in now.
Yeah. No. We have fun with that shit. You know, just want to tell everybody, obviously, have a good week. Hopefully you learned a little bit by listening to this podcast about financial literacy, something you can teach your kids, something you can teach your family, friends, and all that. And go and read, you know what I'm saying, read self-help books, for real. There's a lot of them out there. Check out The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, and follow Dave Ramsey and shit on YouTube. He's arrogant as fuck. But he knows his shit. I know that. That's one thing I will say. He knows his shit. But y'all got anything y'all want to leave with them before we cut out?
Hafa Adai.
I don't know, nigga.
That's hello.
We ain't got
That's the language. That's something I learned from Guam.
All right, well, it's your life, whatever. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, what she said. If you haven't seen Dolomite Is My Name, go see that. No Willie Green. And Jeff, go ahead, Deke. Tell him whatever you want to tell him, and tell him.
Yeah, go get that West Side Gun. Go support Griselda Gang. All those supposedly real hip hop heads. Well, if you're not dead, go get Outer World. I can't get it right now, but it's a great game. Go check out Spiff and Brit YouTube page. It's hilarious. Those things like that. You should be good.
All right, cool. All right, from Romy Mac, from Deacon Balls, Sugar Booger, this is 2 Cents. I'm out. Kira, I love you.
Good night.
We out of here.